What's up, everybody? Noble Comics here. Let's talk about Gohan, right? So, if you're a Dragon Ball fan, early on you were probably a huge fan of Gohan, and nowadays you're probably not, right? In the early days of Dragon Ball Z, Gohan was awesome. He was a bit of a crybaby, and he kind of sucked, but going, especially, of course, into the Cell fight, that's what everybody thinks about, is Gohan really shined. That's where he was at his peak. He was the first person to reach Super Saiyan 2. He was extremely impressive. He was the only one who could defeat Cell. He surpassed Goku here, like, definitively. Gohan was awesome, and he was, like, ruthless, man. And past that, they decided to take an interesting turn with his character, where no longer was he going to be, the super powerful half Saiyan, because in the way of Dragon Ball, if you're half Saiyan, you have more power potential than a full Saiyan. But instead, he was going to become, like, a man of knowledge. He was going to stop training. He was going to go to school, whatever. And a lot of people have a problem with that. Instead of him just becoming stronger and stronger and stronger, being the most powerful person in Dragon Ball, they decided to have him go be this, studious, whatever. I'm giving up on fighting, giving up on training. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing for his character, right? Because he definitely is more human than Saiyan, I would say. He seems to take after his mom quite a bit. As well as his dad, and he doesn't really seem to enjoy fighting that much. He did it whenever he needed to, but it's not something that he wants to do. He's always been, again, kind of a crybaby, kind of timid, stuff like that. But again, when things get tough, like when Boo shows up, Gohan shows up, he does some training, he's got a new ultimate form, and he's up there, he's ready to fight, he's that strong also. Which is sort of the beginning of the problem, right? Where Gohan is getting special treatment to keep him around. Goku, who's been training the whole time, getting up to Super Saiyan 3, unlocking new forms, gets matched by Gohan, who just kind of shows up and is there. But, it's okay. His new form is cool, and now he's adult Gohan, which is cool. We're just happy to see him again, whatever, we're going to overlook it. Well, then we move on to Dragon Ball Super, and the same sort of thing happens. He drops off, he doesn't want to fight anymore, he doesn't want to train anymore, he's totally out of training. And Goku is getting stronger and stronger and stronger to such an insane degree. Like, the jump between Super Saiyan 3 and Super Saiyan Blue is enormous, right? That is such a huge leap in power. And somebody like Gohan, at this point in his life, should be sub Super Saiyan 3 just because he hasn't been training, like, at all. That is not a priority for him like it is for somebody like Goku. And yet, within like one episode, he's able to rival Super Saiyan Blue, and they're able to fight. And then, of course, the worst of it all is, as we reach an even higher threshold of power, Goku is learning godly techniques like Ultra Instinct, as is Vegeta. But Gohan, for some reason, he's like abandoning his Super Saiyan ways. He's becoming, focusing more on his human side. He has a new technique, and it's unveiled as this Gohan Beast form type of thing, which is just insane. I made a video specifically on Gohan Beast and why it's so weird and kind of stupid and doesn't make any sense, and kind of robs the significance of people like Goku who are achieving this form whenever forms like this are just handed to Gohan. And that's really the problem, is they set the character up, right, in a way that, again, I don't think was necessarily bad, where he is very powerful, he does have all this potential, but he prefers not to fight. It's like, okay, that's fine. He's the gentle warrior, whatever. That's fine if that's the character you want him to be. Have him be that character. You can't have your cake and eat it too, where he's the gentle warrior who he doesn't really want to train, he doesn't really want to fight, but also we're going to keep boosting his power up to Goku's level just to keep him in the show, right? Or even surpassing Goku, right, to keep him in the show. Because Beast Gohan may be above Ultra Instinct, and the reason I say this is because we know that Orange Piccolo was stated to be on, quote-unquote, on the level of Ultra Instinct and Ultra Ego, of Goku and Vegeta. And we know that Orange Piccolo was below Cell Max, and Beast Gohan was above Cell Max. So we know that Beast Gohan is above Orange Piccolo, and you could extrapolate from that it is above Ultra Instinct. And I know in the manga, like right now, there's the fight between Beast Gohan and Ultra Instinct, and just the fact that it's even happening is so ridiculous. Because Goku should be so many magnitudes above Gohan that it's not even funny. The fact that Gohan has been handed this power time and time again is ridiculous because, again, pick the type of character you want him to be. Do you want him to be a super powerful, trains all the time, most powerful person in Dragon Ball type of character? Or do you want him to be the more timid, adverse to fighting, I'd rather just be home with my family? You can't do both. It's kind of an insult to the other characters like Goku and Vegeta. Like, Vegeta was totally cucked in these manga panels, right? Where he sees Gohan's power and he's totally like, oh my gosh, he's so powerful. How did he get so powerful? And it's like, don't do that to my boy Vegeta just to uplift Gohan, who I can't even tell if you care about or not, right? Like, for some reason you want him in the show, you want him in the manga, yet you don't want to treat him like you treat all the other characters. Same thing with Piccolo. Piccolo's like one of my favorite Dragon Ball, maybe my favorite Dragon Ball character ever. The dude puts in some training, the dude is training all the time, the dude is trying to reach higher and higher levels of power, even if the Dragon Balls have to help him do it. But specifically, remember what he said was, like, unleash my potential. He didn't just wish for power, he wanted to release the power that's already within him to get to that Orange Piccolo form. And yet Gohan just over here spawns in new forms to get more powerful, at the expense of these other people who are actually trying to reach these levels of power on their own. And, like, don't even get me started with, like, Tien. Tien, who's been, like, one of the only characters consistently training since, like, the end of Z. And yet he's, like, the weakest of the whole bunch. And yet Gohan, who's probably done the least amount of training since the end of Z, is, like, the strongest of the bunch. It's ridiculous. And there's definitely favoritism, right, shown by the creators to certain characters. I know you can't really avoid that. But with Gohan, I feel like it is hurting his character more than he's helping it. Because as far as I've been able to tell, Beast Gohan is not popular. People don't like it because where did it come from? It doesn't make any sense. It's all just very sudden and weird. You know, like what is it? And on top of that, you have the whole Gohan's not even deserving of this, right? Because everybody else has been grinding for their power increase. And yet Gohan just gets handed his power increase like he always does. And it's not just Gohan. Other characters I know get that, especially with Super, like Tournament of Power. A lot of characters got brought up higher than they should have been. But for Gohan, it's always the worst. Because not only is he brought up higher, but he always gets, like, brought up to the top. And it's all because we all were so hyped on Gohan beating Cell. Like, one of the greatest, most badass moments in Dragon Ball history. The Cell saga is the greatest saga in Dragon Ball history, I'd say. And Gohan stole the show. And maybe the creators really like that. Maybe they really like the response. And so they've just got it in their mind that we need to keep having Gohan be the most powerful. But it's like, I'm past that now, right? I don't need Gohan in the show anymore. I don't need Gohan to be around. Let the dude go retire and be a dad if that's what he wants to do. Don't force him in here with these new forms, which frankly kind of look stupid. I don't like the look of Beast Gohan. I don't like how it came about. I don't like how Gohan is getting these free upgrades when everybody else is struggling for him. I think it makes the character harder to like, if you couldn't tell. And it makes the overall Dragon Ball universe less fun and less interesting to engage in, because it's like, the whole thing is about training and getting stronger. Like, that's been the backbone of the show, is that the characters get stronger and stronger because they're training, and that's very human and relatable. You know, maybe if I train, I can get stronger too. But then you throw all that out the window for Gohan. It's like, here's your 10th upgrade, sir. You've now been promoted to most powerful in the universe yet again. And Beast Gohan really kind of breaks the camel's back there, because even in Super, it is not completely unreasonable to think that Gohan could reach that level of power. Now, he isn't using God Ki, as far as I can tell. Maybe there's been some specific line of dialogue I missed where it says that he is. But he isn't using God Ki, so he shouldn't be anywhere near Goku in levels of power. But as far as, like, how he was performing in the Tournament of Power, I thought was pretty much fine. He should be below Golden Frieza. Again, unless he wants to start using God Ki and get that powerful through much training, right? But overall, during that, his character was pretty much fine. He wasn't stealing the show. he was just doing a pretty good job. He was struggling here and there. If you just kind of keep out of your mind, they have him like on par with the Super Saiyan Blue, then he was pretty much fine. But then when you introduced Beast Gohan, you gave him a new form that's just like hurts my head to think about. It's totally ridiculous, and it's made his character one of the most disliked, I think, which does suck because again they really did have a good thing going with Gohan in the beginning, and even though he didn't end up like we wanted him to, and probably like Goku wanted him to, as being the most powerful, he wanted to instead retire. That's fine. That's totally fine if you want to do that. But if you do, you have to stick to it. And that's really all I've got to say. Let me know what you guys think about Gohan as a character. Let me know what you think about Beast Gohan. Is that earned? Is that unearned? Where do you think his character is going in the future? And do you think he's more powerful than Ultra Instinct? By the time this video goes out, that fight between them will have been over, but I will not have read it, right? Because I'm recording this ahead of time. But do let me know if Beast Gohan is more powerful than Ultra Instinct. Let me know in the comments, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.